Premier League classic is all you can really say about this match. Man, did it go the exact way that I would personally have wanted this match? Absolutely not. But you will take going midweek, dark, dreary, rainy, on Tyneside in Newcastle, in front of the Toon, who is in full voice today. Hey, big ups to the Newcastle supporters for just putting on an insane atmosphere. It felt like I was watching a war. It felt like I was watching Spartans literally just clashing against each other in the pouring rain, trying to kill each other. This is what you talk about when you're trying to get your friend into football and you're saying, I swear it's exciting. I swear football is insane. This is the match you show them. They went to absolute war today, and it's a gritty, dirty result for Arne Slot. And I think it shows a lot about one specific player's mentality and his unwillingness to lose. And that's Mohamed Salah. And we'll talk about that in a second, of course, about Mo Salah, about the goals and what I think. But let's be really honest here. And excuse my voice, I'm a little under the weather. But give Mo Salah a new contract. He willed this Liverpool team over the line and should have earned them 3 points if it hadn't been for Kelleher leaving that ball for Fabian Schär to tap in, sadly. But the way that he came on in that second half and absolutely was a one-man wrecking crew, almost like, give me the ball, demanding it. Just give me the damn ball. Don't do all this tiki-taka stuff. Don't knock it around the back. Give me the ball and let me take care of the rest. I will create a goal or I will score one. And I'd be amiss if I didn't bring up how good Newcastle's press was. In that first half, I thought the game maybe was going to run away from us. I'll be very, very honest. That press was absolutely vicious. And when you don't have ball players in the back line, Gomez is good on the ball, right? But that isn't like one of his first qualities you would say that he has. Not on the level that Konate has showed this season. And then, of course, Gerald Kwanzaa is no Trent Alexander-Arnold. And they were missed today, 100% in the middle of the park. Slot had to figure out how he was going to bypass that initial press and find that pocket of space that was in between the players that were pressing, the six that were pressing, and the back four. And there was a big pocket of space there, and Jones had to find a way to exploit it. He did one time, and that was in the Salah build-up and the Salah goal, or the Salah assist for him to slot that goal in. But he needed to continue to do that, and unfortunately, that wasn't the case. And I think Szoboszlai maybe came on a little bit too late for him to be able to exploit that area. But Mo started dropping into those pockets and caused all types of havoc in that second half for the Newcastle back line. But you can't take anything away from this Newcastle side. They made it extremely difficult for our midfield to get on the ball and play through like we like to, with Ryan Gravenberch, with Alexis McAllister, Jones, and Szoboszlai interchanging out of that attacking midfield position. And this is probably one of the worst games that I've seen. And not saying it was a completely bad game from either of these two, from McAllister and Gravenberch. They just could not get into the game. And in them pushing and pressing as six really stifled our offense, and we couldn't play out of the back like we typically do. We were forced to kind of just push it onto that right wing where Gerald Kwanzaa was, who doesn't have the greatest passing range. So it was locking Salah out of the game. It was locking Cody Gakpo out of the game, right? And credit to Newcastle, credit to Eddie Howe. They had the right strategy there, and they implemented to perfection. But Arne Slot, he's a second half manager. And that's what happened. There was changes that made. We stopped playing it so short. We stopped trying to play it through the middle. And at times we were chipping it into that area that was in behind. And that's how we created that first Mo Salah goal, which was absolutely world class. But before we get into the goals, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're growing like crazy right now. The goal is to get to 5,000. If you're new here, make sure you post where you are watching from. This thing is growing all around the world, from Dublin to Russia to Somalia, everywhere. We're getting viewers from all over the place. So make sure you guys put that down there and connect with some people that live in your country and maybe even in your town. But regardless, let's talk about the match. If there was one takeaway from this match that I would say, it would be that Liverpool are in dire need of reinforcements right now. We are, and that's all around. We are in a stage of the Premier League where the games are just going to keep coming and coming and coming, not just in the Premier League, also the FA Cup, also the Carabao Cup, also the Champions League. And it's going to be 2 and 3 games a week all the way until early February. And Arne Slot has to understand that he is going to need reinforcements if he's serious about this title charge. And FSG has to understand that and back this man as well. I'm hearing some rumors about some of the players that they want to bring in. I'm hoping that they are true, but we need help in the back line. We need help in the midfield. We need a controller there, a Zubamendi type of role. We will see what happens with that. I'm hearing that's fired back up and all that stuff. But it would have went such a long way if we had someone who could play in those tight spaces, in between the lines, in our third, and able to wiggle free and break past initial press like Zubamendi can. And a player like that was super, super needed. Ryan typically does an amazing job for that, but they were just doubling him and tripling him, and he just was having such a tough time getting on the ball. And Maka, sometimes he can get bullied a little bit in that middle when there's very physical midfields like Joelinton, Guimaraes, and Tonali in there, all over 6 feet tall, all big presence guys. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult for Maka to get on the ball. So we did much better in that second half, though, to get past the press that Newcastle had in that first half. Trent coming on changed the game. Let's be honest. His creativity from the back helped us get forward, and he was able to make that overlapping run. And a lot of the times, in recent times, we've been doing underlapping runs, but that overlapping run actually created space in that pocket that I was talking about, that was there because they just kept pressing as six. And the thing about pressing like that, right? The extremely intense press. You can only do it for so long. Just like how we used to do with it in the Jurgen Klopp days. It's very reminiscent of that, right? But you can only do it so long, and it takes a lot out of your players. You could see the Newcastle players were starting to tire. They were. And if it wasn't for that final goal, Liverpool would be taking the 3 points home. I think they were the better team in the second half. Newcastle were obviously the better team in the first half, but it helped swing the game. 2 assists from Trent Alexander-Arnold on Mo Salah. Mo Salah with an assist and with a goal. But if there's one extra thing that I would take from that back line, it's Gerald Kwanzaa is not a right back. He's a center back. He was much better there. And I think we may see him partner up with VVD in the Merseyside derby. And we have to figure out what we're going to do at right back with Trent still struggling for fitness there. Obviously, he's the obvious choice with Connor Bradley being out for an extended period of time. But he was the game changer today. And that was vintage Trent today, what we saw. Mo Salah decided violence today. After that first half, he was like, give me the ball. Watch what I can do with it. And at that point, I say this every video, he shoots his bow, give him his dough. You have to re-sign Mohamed Salah. Give him another contract. I heard a stat like some 67% of our goals this season have come from Mo Salah's contribution, and I think that number goes up again today. He nearly won this game on his own, and this is what I talk about when you talk about players that are magic, that are world class, that can take a game by the scruff of its neck and win it on their own. These are the type of players you have to have throughout the entire squad. He willed his way into this game after having such a quiet first half. He just was not taking no for an answer in that second half, and I love to see it. And the Slot, I would say, adjusted actually really, really well in that second half, and I think we were unlucky not to take home the 3 points. If Kelleher just didn't draw those hands back and just snatched it and just was safe about it, we'd be looking at a different result. And, man, I feel bad for Darwin Núñez. I really do. I feel really bad for Darwin Núñez. And there's going to be a lot of us who are going to come after this man, and they're going to say he's not good enough. And I partly agree, and I partly disagree. You can see it on his face. You can see how much he wants to succeed at this club. And you can see how much he actually enjoys playing for Liverpool. But that doesn't mean that he may be the right player, right? You need a player like an Isak. You need a player like a Gyökeres. You need a player like not current Erling Haaland, but historical Erling Haaland. You need those types of players who, and we'll talk about the goals in a second. Let's just talk about the goals right now. Forget it. who can take a pass like that, cut back, turn the best defender in the world inside out, and fire an unstoppable right foot shot into the top right hand corner that no keeper in the world would save. And I know there's some people that are saying Alisson would have saved that. No, he wouldn't have. No, he wouldn't have. He wouldn't have saved that one. That was an unstoppable shot. Alisson would have grabbed that ball out of the air. He doesn't leave anything in the air. If there's one thing about Alisson that I love, is that any loose ball in the air, Alisson is trying to grab it. He has a great leap on him. And then the Jones goal. Talked about this a little bit. Mo Salah, world class, outside of the book. The vision to find a pass like that. And then, of course, the control for Jones to put it into the top right-hand corner. And then Gordon really exposed that back line with that goal. Turned Kwanzaa inside out. Turned Gordon inside out. And then, I hate to say it, but if Alisson gets a hand on that, Alisson stops that goal. This wasn't Kelleher's best day. And we can't forget about all of the good work that he's done recently just because he's had one bad game. But I think that's the difference between a world-class goalkeeper and a fantastic, great goalkeeper that Kelleher is versus a goalkeeper like Alisson that he's proven time and time again to make inhuman stops, to make right decisions, to grab the ball. You know what I mean? It's those small things that take you from being good to being great. And I think we saw that today. But again, Mo Salah's 2 goals were the difference makers today. He probably could have had a hat trick. He had one cannon off the inside of the post with his right foot that he kind of bent and curled crazy. I didn't even know he had that type of technique with his right foot. And then the Fabian Schär goal, man. Tough. And I've talked about it a couple times already in this video. It's tough. You got to grab that one out of the air, especially in the 90th minute. Don't let it go out for a goal kick. Punch it, grab it, do whatever you can. That's what Alisson does really well. He punches those balls out of the air and don't go there with it. But he does a really good job of punching away a lot of danger. And I think that was the mistake that Kelleher made. If he didn't feel confident enough to grab it out of the air, punch it out of danger and get it as far away as he possibly can. But the man of the match for me today, Mo Salah. Mo Salah salvaged this point for us on his own. And if anything, we probably should have won it based off of his efforts. But you can't take anything away from Newcastle because it could have been worse for us today, especially in that first half. I think in that first half, they could have went and had a party if they really wanted to. They really took us to the sword, but that second half was all Liverpool. And it's unfortunate that it doesn't feel like a point gained. It feels more so like a point lost a little bit. But to go to the tune, under the lights, rainy, windy, crazy weather, and get a point where it didn't feel like you probably would have got a point in that first half, I'm kind of split. I don't know. You guys let me know. Is this a point gain or is this 2 points lost? You put it down in the comments what you guys think. But Arsenal and Chelsea will be loving this result. At the time I'm filming this video, Arsenal are up 1-0 against Manchester United, and Chelsea just put a whooping on Southampton. So we'll see. But what happens next? Everton is on Saturday, right? I think Slot will learn a lot from this result, just like how he did from the Nottingham Forest game, because this could have been worse, but it's not, right? There's going to be a lot of Liverpool fans who are going to be breaking the glass and ringing the alarms. I don't think we're at that level, not by a long shot. We still have only lost 1 game in the league all season long. Let's be very, very clear. And we were lucky not to win this game, but also lucky not to lose this game. It was one of those games. 6 goals scored, 3-3, Premier League classic. What more can you really ask for as a neutral? As a Liverpool fan, you could ask for a whole ton more. But he won't take this Everton side lightly. It'll be his first Merseyside derby, and I think Everton will going to try to take a page out of Newcastle's book, put a really intense press on our back line. If Trent starts, I think we can get past that, especially with his passing range. But they're going to try to recreate a lot of the good moments that Newcastle had in this first half and try to force mistakes out of our back line, which we can see now with it being, kind of almost like a second unit back line, that's possible. But there are positives to take away from this, and there's constructive criticism to take away from this. And I hope that I was able to convey that to you guys really well. But let me know what you guys think. Do we get a result on this Saturday against Everton? I think we do. And I think we get back to winning ways against Everton. I'm going to predict a 2-0 win. They did beat Wolves today 4-0, as I saw. But we will see. Merseyside derby this weekend. Let me know what you guys think. Who is your man of the match? And what is your prediction for this weekend? We're getting into the thick of it. The title race starts now, boys. Let's do it. You'll never walk alone. See you on the next one. Peace.